Well, welcome to another Store Picks. Today we're headed up to Grapes and Grains in Johns Creek, and Jennifer Peters is going to give us a tour. Come along. Jennifer is going to show us her famous whiskey wall. So we're in the Store Picks, and Jennifer, show us what you have in the way of good bourbons and whiskeys.
I mean, I've got a wall full. So let's take a little walk. We start with a lot of our core brands down here. You've got your tried and true, your Woodfords, Russell's Reserve. We do have some private barrels right now. And then, our famous Old Forester lineup that everybody loves from the 1870 to the 1920 and the Statesman. We have all the basics you can see. But as you come down, we get into a little more of the smaller craft side. If you haven't ever tried Rowan's Creek or Noah's Mill, they're actually made by Willett, one of the smallest distilleries in the state of Kentucky. They are a higher rye. One sits at a bottled in bond, and the other one is a 114 cask strength. Always a great bottle to try if you haven't had it. You come down a little further, we have another little gem in the Widow Jane out of Brooklyn, New York. Something that makes that amazing is the minerality of their water. It is in the whiskey. And while it's an unassuming little bottle that most people don't gravitate to, it's a fantastic bottle to try. If you come a little further down, we get into some a little more unique things. We have some great stuff from Traverse City out of Michigan. Of course, everybody knows Smoke Wagon. We have a few things from Redwood Empire and Rabbit Hole. We have kind of the fun bottles from Oak and Eden. If you haven't ever seen them, these actually have staves in them, and I don't think you can see them in the light. We might be able to get that up there for you. You see these little staves that allow them to bottle age. So it kind of gives a little bit more of a smooth flavor and allows it to do a little more finishing in the bottle. So it creates some more unique flavors for you. Also fun to use if you're making an infinity bottle later. If you come a little farther down, of course, we have some mixtures. Hill Rock right up here. This is one of Dave Pickerel's pet projects before he passed. Same great mind behind Whistle Pig. A beautiful Solera aged bourbon from upstate New York yet again. We do have some great stuff. Chattanooga from right across the river north of us is making some beautiful bottled in bond whiskeys, some cask strength whiskeys, and they're making everything in-house. Nothing is sourced from them anymore. So they've been doing a great job producing really quality whiskeys that are absolutely worth looking at and trying. Different varieties, some are a little more high rise, some are finished, and they do a couple different wheated options as well. If you come down a little further, of course, you'll find everybody's favorite Bardstown from Kentucky, where they have their Origin series, which they make, as well as some of their Fusion series. Fun stuff that they do. All of their Fusions are different. We're currently running Fusion number 9, so they'll tell you everything that's in the bottle. Something that a lot of places will not do. So this is currently a 4-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 12-year-old blended together. 2 from Bardstown and 1 from a mystery place in Kentucky. But what that does is it also tells you the mash bill, so you can tell if it's rye, wheated, so it helps you understand more of what you're getting in your bottle. Outside of that, we have some beautiful store single barrels that we have. Always a favorite is our Burning Chair. So Burning Chair is a cask strength. This is usually finished in Dave Finney's wine casks. However, we chose to do the whiskey outside of that finishing. It is definitely got some heat on the front of it. Once you get past that first initial shock of the alcohol, you get into some great layers with beautiful spice, some caramel, and a nice lingering creamy finish on the end. We do happen to have a Jefferson Ocean wheated. A little secret about this, you will only ever find a wheated Jefferson Ocean in a single barrel. It's no longer going to be in their regular rotation. So if you like that wheated Ocean with a hint of salt, you will only find it in a single barrel store pick from this point on. We do also have the Pritchard Hill in a couple different makers. One of our other favorites right now, of course, gotta love the hometown, Fiddler's Ambarina. Ambarina is a very popular new finishing right now. From what I understand, we were one of the first groups to be able to pick a single barrel of the Ambarina. And this is a cask strength at 59.2. You get some cinnamon notes. It's kind of like a sweetened cinnamon roll, or some of the flavors that you're going to hit in this, with some powdered frosting and a little bit. It's a very non-traditional bourbon that adds a little bit of a different twist, but has definitely been a favorite of a lot of our customers. We do also carry the Georgia Heartwood as well. which is actually finished in Georgia oak staves. Definitely has an oakier profile and a lot more alcohol to the front of it, but it is a single barrel at cask strength, so you can always water it down to the flavor that you like, but think of it as a concentrate. You get a little more bang for your buck. Always another favorite right up here, not necessarily a store pick, but Barrel Dovetail. Probably the single bourbon that launched them into fame was their Dovetail Blend, which is a rum, port, and cab finished. Perfectly balanced, not overpowering, and does not drink like it's cask strength. One more, actually two more on our single barrel section that I'll feature here. Our Rye 3. So Rye 3 is a straight rye whiskey. It is cask strength, finished in a rum cask. If you're an Angel's Envy fan and cannot find Angel's Envy, this is a beautiful substitute. It is not too alcoholic on the front, very, very soft on the introduction, and has a little bit of that sweet finish to it. And then we have our little unicorn over here. That is our Nashville Rye. I say it's a unicorn because this is not made anymore. This is one of the 8-year-old barrels that they sent out originally. It is a 110 proof. So it is on their cask strength side, but this is a non-produced whiskey anymore. This was one of their introductory barrels when they first came out, one of their first barrel programs. And because we're not necessarily in Tennessee, people don't know it as well. But if you want a really good straight rye that is balanced, this is a phenomenal bottle to pick up. And you can only get it here.
Well, thank you, Jennifer.
You're
I think
welcome.
you've got some store pics you'd like to show us up front as well.
Sure, let's go up there.
Okay, Jennifer, tell us about your store pics you have up front.
Not a problem. Well, we looked at a couple of them in the back with our Fiddler and our Jefferson Ocean. We also have a Pritchard Hill cask finish, which is finished in a Cabernet barrel. So it is another Jefferson Reserve that they went. So that is I believe it's an 11-year-old. We also saw the burning chair in the back. I'm going to show you one that's a little different. We actually did a single barrel Scotch. So this is Loch Lomond, the official spirit of the Open over in Britain, and it is a 9-year-old. It's a very light Scotch with some lovely characteristics leaning towards a Highland style, but much lighter in body. So it's not a smoky, heavy Scotch, it's much more light. So we wanted to give people the option to try something a little different. We of course have the tried and true Jack Daniel's single barrel, which is always a great option. And then we currently just got our release of our cask strength Elijah Craig. This is always a very popular bottle, and I don't expect it to last very long. We did this at barrel proof, and so we actually got fewer bottles. But barrel proof for Elijah Craig is always a great option. This is a 9-year-old, uncut, unfiltered, unadulterated bottle. If you want to sneak over here, we've got a couple more that we can look at. So we're currently featuring some barrels in the center of our store. We did talk about the Rye 3 and the Nashville already. We sneak around here, and we have a local bottle. So we have a cask strength Old Fourth Ward from right here in Atlanta. That is a beautiful bottle. Now I will tell you this is sourced, but it is still a gorgeous full proof with lots of flavor and lots of layers. We do have a Sagamore rye, so if you're a big fan of that straight rye spice, that is a beautiful one. And we have two non-traditional ones. We don't really do, not a lot of people do single barrels. We have a Ron Azalico rum. So I know it's not your whiskeys, but this actually almost drinks more like a bourbon with the characteristics that they've aged it. It is a 10-year-old rum. So while it'll have a little more vanilla note to it and some caramelization, it has a wonderful, beautiful oak that gives you a lot of characteristics that is a good transition for a bourbon drink if you want to try something a little bit different. We do also have another one which is called Grandeur. It's a Panamanian rum that is also, again, light, once again, a 10-year-old, and it is a 54%. You don't see a lot of rums of that high of a proof. But these are a lot of fun, and we do actually have, we're down to our number 2 in our Maker's Barrel Select, and you'll notice it has several different stavings on it. Private barrels are a lot of fun, and we actually have another one coming down the pipe this year, so we'll have barrel number 3 coming soon. This is a fun one because we went with something that was a little more baking spiced, and something you don't normally see in Makers is some spice. So you get a little more cinnamon, a little more nutmeg, and that is strictly from the staving that they put on the barrel. So it gives you a little hint of almost a rye in a Maker's Mark, so you get that soft carameliness with a little more of the warmth that you want for the fall holiday season. So these are some of our favorites that we have out right now. We do have some more coming down the pipe. Just not going to tell you what they are yet because that's not fair.
Well, thank you very much, Jennifer, for showing us around a little bit, and we'll show our viewers even more of the great lines of whiskeys, gins, bourbons, wines, and all else that you carry here at Grapes and Grind.
Absolutely. Feel free to explore. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to look at, so don't get lost, and if you do, come find me.
Thank you, Jennifer.